Hi guys, Shopper back once again with another mint in box. And today we're looking at the Turbo Builder Set from Jazwares Fortnite range. This is a pretty hefty box full of a lot of build materials. It bolsters 81 building materials. So we're going to be taking a look at how all of the pieces interact and take a look at the figures, and then I'm going to build a bunch of stuff just to show you how versatile it all is. And if you have any builds to share, just go to #WarUpIRL on your socials and show people what you can do. But for now, we're going to take a look at the figures and the weapons, so let's get going. And here are the two figures included in the Turbo Builder set. For the sake of starting fresh, let's take a look at Jonesy. Jonesy is one of the default skins, one of 8 random skins you play as in Fortnite Battle Royale. If you do not choose another skin, it will cycle through the 8 presets, which is a pretty neat feature, I think. Rather than just have one singular default character, you have 8 to begin with, which is a great little idea. And Jonesy kind of is at least one of the mascots. This is his default pickaxe. It's fairly standard. It is literally just a regular pickaxe. A little thin at the bottom, but hey, what can you do? And Jonesy himself is just a good design overall, I think. And you can see why he and the other defaults serve as the basis for a lot of uncommon skins, the ones that run about 800 V-Bucks, because they just take the default models, recolor them a little, and it's a good enough skin to start you off. It's a very nice look, and you can tell why Jonesy is the template for a lot of other skins like Rex, Skull Trooper, Dyer, etc. because he's got a fairly nice look. The figure itself has 19 points of articulation. All the joints are very nice, very flexible. His head is a little stiff. I think out of all of the figures I've messed with so far, he is the stiffest, especially in his ankles, which has become a little bit of a worry for me. Because of where the hinge is located, I can imagine some breakages happening, but for now he seems fine, and that's all good. Plenty of articulation. That doesn't sound great, admittedly, but again, I think it might just be my version being exceptionally tight. But yeah, he's got a great range of motion. If we bring in the uncommon shotgun, it fits into his hand very easily, and I think in most promotional materials this is what Jonesy is seen wielding, and it's a good choice to pack it in with one of the default characters. I'll just quickly run with another weapon, which is the rare revolver, another weapon that has been sadly vaulted. It was an alright weapon, it's a good default pistol, but there's a lot of weapons that have come and gone, and it's still a great design. Next we move on to Raven, the original Fortnite edgelord. He came out around April 6th last year, and it seems so much longer considering how far the game has come in terms of like mechanics and all the skins that have come since then. But he was a huge hit when he was released, and is a mainstay to this very day. So he's a very popular skin. I can see why they included him in this line. He's a very good looking figure. His pickaxe is an interesting one. It's this coily Tesla coil looking thing, which is the AC/DC pickaxe from Season 2. I think it was a Battle Pass reward, and is very rare. You hardly see these around, especially nowadays. So, including such a rare, iconic pickaxe in with one of these sets is a great idea. Because Raven is such a departure from the default skin, he does have a few extra bits like these soft rubber, almost like trench coat flaps, but they're made of a very nice soft rubber, so the articulation isn't going to be hindered too much by them, which is fantastic. Despite his overly complicated gothy edgelord design, he does retain so much of his articulation, and that is a fantastic thing. His head is a decent representation of what the in-game model would be, because he doesn't have a face, he's just a black mass with pink eyes. So yeah, if you don't look at it right, it can look a little silly, but they did what they could with it. And he also has a very nice soft rubber collar. His hands are heavily armoured, so his grip is a lot tighter than a lot of the other figures in this line, but he can still hold the weapons fairly well. Just slot that in, and there he is with a rare silenced submachine gun. This hasn't been in the game for a long time, a good 6 months or so, I'd say, but it's a good weapon. He holds it fairly well, very nice, and he looks really good holding it. And there's one final weapon included with the set, which is a rare hunting rifle, and again, very nice sculpt. I think this is still in the game. I don't use them that often, but yeah, he seems to be able to get a decent aiming pose, which is great. I'm gonna pose him with one of these or one of the other sniper rifles. Looks pretty menacing with it, which is great. I can't wait to see if they do the second part of the Nevermore set and bring his compatriot Ravage into the fold, because each set's got like a male and female counterpart, and I'd love to see Ravage come along with Raven here. In the Turbo Builder set, there is a prefabricated build already for you. It's a very basic build, it doesn't even have a back on it, but it does illustrate the kind of structures you can make with this kind of build material. You get the wood build material, the brick, and the metal. They all share the same jigsaw-like quality, but they do interact in very specific ways. Like if you don't line up the ridges in a certain given way, then you can't build as effectively. And the interlocking nature of this means that they're going to be fairly sturdy and really promotes a lot of creativity in the Fortnite fan base. So what I'm going to do is use the 81 pieces of build material that are given in this set, and I'm going to build some stuff. Back in a bit. So I just spent about 10-15 minutes building a 3x3 little cube shelter. It's about the scale you'd expect of a 1x1 in the game, though unfortunately, because of how I laid everything out, I can't put anything on top. The way everything interlocks is very specific, and if you don't plan it out too well, you end up missing pieces. So that's something to bear in mind, especially since this is designed for 8-year-olds and up. I mean, I'm 30 and I messed it up. Anyway, just showing you that you can do something in a quick 10-15 minutes and get the point across for the primary mechanic of the game and the toy line. So I'm going to take a little more time and build up a whole bunch of stuff. And after about an hour of fiddling about with all of the different pieces, this is what I came up with. A bunch of bridges and a little tower, and it was a lot of fun, but I can see it being frustrating for maybe younger kids, but it has so much potential here. Like, this is just basic square pieces. If they start adding more unique pieces, you can start recreating structures from the game. Like if they add a corner diagonal piece, that would really finish off the tower. But yeah, it's a really fun and creative way of engaging kids who play a lot of Fortnite but maybe not play with toys so much. So they can get the action figures and they can get the Turbo Builder Set, which will give them a little more creative freedom in building arenas for their figures to fight in. And that's a really cool idea. I really think that's a great idea. With all of the boundless creativity of a child, they could do a lot with this kind of stuff. I know if I was still a kid, I would spend a lot more time building intricate little bases and whatnot. I just wanted to build something for display purposes, and even in that endeavor it looks pretty nice and invokes the game's aesthetic really well. You can pick up the Turbo Builder Set for $34.99 from most good retailers, and I think that is a pretty good price considering you get 81 building materials, 2 figures, 2 pickaxes, 4 weapons. It's a whole play set in and of itself, which really promotes creativity in a younger crowd and still has something unique for the figure collectors, because you can't get these figures in any other set at the moment. That may be subject to change. I know Raven just came out with a winter skin, so maybe there will be a holiday pack with a white version of the Raven skin. I don't know. They could do so much with this line. Jonesy could be repainted in any number of ways, and that's what I really like about this line. Not only do you get all these like creative panels that can build structures, but each of the figures has a lot of customizing and repaintability. It shows a lot of creativity and is a fantastic play pattern to demonstrate the worth of the Fortnite brand in a toy arena. As always, I've been Sharpo. This has been the Fortnite Turbo Builder Set from Jazwares. And I'll catch you guys next time on Mint in Box.